Greetings and welcome to Let's Talk Aging. I'm Gwyneth Johnson. I'm with Second Wind Dreams. We are an organization dedicated to changing the perception of aging. And through this interview series, we are focusing on individuals and organizations dedicated to changing that very same perception. Today, I am thrilled to have with us Leeza Gibbons. Now, many of you know her as a correspondent and talk show host from Entertainment Tonight and other shows as well. But Leeza is also the CEO and founder of Leeza's Care Connections. So welcome, Leeza.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you. Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you very much. Leeza's partnered with Second Wind Dreams for some time, and it's my honor to be talking with her. Can you tell us a little bit about Leeza's Care Connections? I don't know that everybody knows you do this.
It's my passion and has been my honor and such a great source of joy and purpose in my life, which started out, as it does for many people, with tremendous heartache and depression and isolation. But we are, Gwyneth, an oasis, a place for caregivers to begin to answer the question, now what, right? A place where you can gather with people who get it, and then you can get on with your very challenging journey of being a son, a daughter, a husband, wife of someone who has a chronic illness or a disease. So our whole notion is that you can hang on to yourself, even if you have to let go, or even while you're letting go of someone you love. So we think that if we can make you and help you become more confident and more competent as a caregiver, then you're going to get better outcomes for your care receiver, for that person that you love. So we offer a lot of things, free programs, services, support. And the whole idea is to help you become better educated, empowered, and energized to go the distance. Because as you know, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we've got everything from webinars to laughter, yoga, and line dancing. There's a lot of strength that comes from being together.
There is, and caregivers are one of the greatest resources this country has.
Agreed. We're the healthcare system.
Absolutely. I am not currently a caregiver, but I'm prepared to be. But I talk with them frequently, and I'm just amazed at how willing they are to give. Mm-hmm. And our country can't live without them.
No, we can't, not only because of the billions of dollars of unpaid care that they provide, but this is the only way for us to affect real change, by taking the worried well, the people who are caring, who are next in line, and protecting them, giving them some resilience against this emotional, physical, financial assault that comes from caring, because then those people take their place in the lineup and begin to drain money off the system and begin to not be able to show up at work, not be able to parent their children and take care of their elders. And it's this awful cycle. So probably like most people listening to us right now, I was recruited into it, kicking and screaming. I didn't want to do it. Caring broke into my life, as it does for almost everyone. My mom, my grandmom both died of Alzheimer's disease. So I basically, with Leeza's Care Connection, created in the world what we wish we'd had, which was a place where people get it, a place to be seen, a place to feel heard and to be understood. Because I did not want that label. I did not want to put on that sweater that said caregiver. That didn't fit. That wasn't my outfit. Those weren't my clothes. They were itchy. So I just folded it up, put it on the top shelf of my closet. And that doesn't help anybody get on with it. But that's where we are a lot of times in our culture. I mean, I've seen the emotional collateral that comes from caring. And this assault on your immune system takes years off your life, up to 10 years you can give just because you love. No one is ready. No one is trained virtually, and very few can even see what's coming. So I figured that's my seat at the table then. We can't right now cure all these diseases, and especially Alzheimer's disease, but we can change that number. We can make that better.
Fantastic. How did you, well, I guess you kind of told us that it was your family that brought you to service of caregivers and elders.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I was with the rest of my family members. We had just kind of gone to the emotional corners in our lives to lick our wounds. And we just felt sad and lonely and misunderstood. And, um, look, I've spent a lot of years as a reporter. And when my mother got sick with Alzheimer's disease, she really gave me the best medicine. I didn't know what to do. And I would say to her, Mom, I want to help. I want to make it better. And she would say, Honey, all your life you've been a storyteller. So this is now your story. So go tell it, make it count,
mhm.
promise me that you will. So I promised her that. And that was really the beginning of my journey. I had no idea it would take me into creating a nonprofit. I just thought, well, I'll just keep talking. And you know what? That is the best medicine for anyone. When people come into the center or they call us, often they'll say, I don't even know why I'm calling you. And we'll say, that's okay. And we'll just start talking. And that ultimately takes us to a better, more comfortable, more powerful place,
The power of storytelling is phenomenal. I,
isn't it?
I find that here we have great data, but it's the story of the human beings that really
Always.
tells what we do.
Yes, always. And you guys, I'm so mad crazy about the work that Second Wind Dreams does and how long you've been at it and the authority that you have and the heart that you have. And it's the same thing with us, where it's one life at a time, really affecting that one family, that one person, that one outcome, that one journey. And that's everything. That's how we're going to get there.
It is, absolutely. What would you say is your biggest takeaway from this work?
I think it's always best to focus on what's left instead of what's lost. It's very tempting as we get older and people we love get sick. We want to hang on to a different version. We want to be that version of ourselves when we were younger, when we felt more powerful, when we felt relevant. But we know that you can't build tomorrow if you keep replaying yesterday. So my takeaway, I guess, is that I've worked with thousands of families and I know a few things. One is that you cannot do it alone. You and I have said we're hardwired to connect. It's in our DNA. And then self-care is not a slogan, it's not a catchphrase. Self-care is an essential tool. It's a survival tool. It can and should be learned. And it may mean, and it probably does for most of us, mean forgiving yourself for pushing back against these new roles and new identities, forgiving other people because they may have disappointed you, forgiving your loved one for having the audacity to get sick and change. And the other piece that I think is really important is resilience. This is a powerful thread in everyone who's ever found a place of peace and purpose, and really even joy in the aging process. So it's kind of a yes and approach, right? So yes, I'm getting wrinkles. Yes, my hair is going gray, or yes, I've got crepey skin, whatever. Yes, and what? What's next? How do I find a better version of me? So when I get to that place where things are looking hopeless, and they do for all of us, I just engage my optimism and recognize that that's not some namby-pamby soft thing. It is a powerful thing. It's an emotional competence. Colin Powell used to say it's a force magnifier. And it really is. It ties you to solutions faster. It changes your biochemistry in your brain. So walk on the sunny side of the street. That's going to serve you well.
Fantastic. I couldn't agree with you more. As human beings, we don't transition well,
No.
particularly here with our love of youth. And I love youth, but aging is a privilege. And learning to celebrate the changes as you get them, I think, is a real.
Yeah, I think that's right. And that's why these conversations that you have with your show is so important. But you're right, we don't transition well. And our society is set up to focus on and value things that are young and things that are fresh and things that are juicy. And we sort of have maligned and othered those of us who are older as though we're no longer those things. So that's something that I think we are getting better at. But I believe that for caregivers or for any of us on the journey of what's next, it's so important to find your voice, whatever that means to you. And I think it's interesting that sometimes somebody new will come in the door and we'll ask that caregiver, well, how are you doing? And they don't even find themselves in the answer. They'll say, well, mom had a bad day today, or dad broke his hip and we've been in the ER. So we've got to find a way to put ourselves back in the equation, to learn how to ask for help. And not only the asking part, but I think the harder bit of that is how to receive help. And for me, that really took rehearsing. I really thought I was going to go get a gold star and, go to heaven for doing everything by myself. So if you have to rehearse this out for yourself, learn how to answer when someone says, let me know if you need anything. And once you've said it out loud a few times, I need you to come over. I need you to call me so I can cry. I need to take a bath. I need to get in the car and leave. Once you rehearse it and give yourself permission to ask for those things, it feels pretty good.
It does. And even if you don't have those resources, if you don't have a safety net socially in your life, there are resources available, and reaching out to organizations like yours and many across the country, not quite like yours, but there are systems within our state and local governments that support as well. There are safety nets out there for us, and we don't often know what they are.
We don't. And that's part of the aging conversation that is silent. And we really need to get a microphone on all that. I'm often saying to folks, when things don't add up, and sometimes in life they just don't add up, that's when you've got to start subtracting. And so there are a lot of people in the way, toxic people who are resistant, who say, well, don't even call those people. They probably can't even help you. Or that's a government agency and you're not even going to get anyone on the phone. Or don't you feel weird going in there and asking for help? We've got to eliminate those toxic people from our lives. And oh, by the way, sometimes we have to take away the opportunities that we inadvertently put out there to be wounded by those people. Sometimes it's your biological family, the people who may not understand what you're up against. So the greatest gift you can give yourself is to find your tribe, find the people who do know what you're up against, hang out with the people that, are dancing on your stage.
Fantastic. Is there any other message that you would like to share with family caregivers today who see this?
I think recognizing that, and it sounds so flippant to say, but that you are not alone, and you will begin to feel better the minute you reach out and hold hands with, stand shoulder to shoulder with, or just be in silence with somebody else who gets it. We have a program called Hugs, which is helping you grow strong. And it's not a clinical anything. It is a peer-to-peer mentor kind of relationship where maybe it's just over the phone, maybe it's just email, maybe it's in person and coffee or a glass of wine or whatever feels good to you. Because we found that people, they need medical advice, they need diagnostics, they need all of that. But what they need most of all, and what they ask for most of all, is who understands where I've been, who shares my story. And you and I talked about how powerful that is. So that, I think, is the number one thing, is even if you don't think it's going to take you anywhere, trust the process for a second, go with some blind faith and just push yourself to reach out. And it's really going to pay off.
Everybody needs community.
We do.
Well, I have one final question for you today.
Okay, great.
How do you change the perception of aging?
Oh my goodness, we all have to take responsibility for it, don't we?
We do.
I think we all change the perception by changing the conversation. Too often it's about anti-aging. It's about wanting to be younger, instead of celebrating where we are now. I think that we all have to just resign from the society of people pleasers. And, I think I was one of the inaugural members, but we've got to let go of that and accommodate lots and lots of ways to age. Because look, there are a lot of people that we know who lean into the wrinkles and the gray hair. And, some days I'm that person, other days I'm with the other group. I want some help along the way. I want to feel better about the reflection looking back at me in the mirror. But don't we need to be comfortable with whatever choice makes people feel powerful and positive in their own lives? And we've got to stop making people wrong for the choice that they're choosing. So I think it's just, we need to keep growing. We need to keep learning so that we can keep contributing to the conversation, because I do know that being static and stale makes you boring and brittle. So I believe we start to change it by changing the way others think of you and by being unexpected.
Unexpected. That's perfect. Leeza, thank you so much for talking with us today. I know that our audience will really enjoy this interview.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great work that you're doing. You're in my tribe. We're in it together.
We are, and it's a pleasure to be there with you.
Same.
I want to thank all of you for joining us at Let's Talk Aging. As you have time, please have a look at our website, www.secondwind.org. It is our 25th anniversary. We have activities throughout the entire year, ways for you to engage with us locally, a conference, and web offerings as well. I look forward to talking with you soon.